Superstars, what's going on? This is Coach Wood, and I am excited to be back with you guys for another amazing episode of content. Today we will be talking about Coach Wood's draft experience, which was not so pleasant. But before we get on to that, you guys, if this is your first time joining us with the Before You Go Pro channel, welcome. Also, keep in mind, we do have some housekeeping items. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. This is a football community. So if that's you, if you're a player, a parent of a player, a sibling, a coach, this is your channel, baby. So hit that subscribe button. And then also, we've got some special resources down for you in the description box. So check out those resources as well. But as I said, we are right around draft time, depending on when you are watching this. And it always brings up memories, you guys. It always brings up memories because it was the one thing as an athlete that I wanted the most. It was the one thing that I wanted the most was to hear my name called on the draft and see my highlights on TV. Every single athlete that has dreamed about playing in the NFL has dreamed about the day that they walk across that stage, have that hat placed on their head, and then see their highlights for all of their family and friends to see. So I was fighting for the same thing. Coach Wood was fighting for the same thing as many of you young athletes are that were watching the draft, the 2026 draft, and then also watching this content. You guys are fighting for the whole kitchen caboodle, baby. You're trying to go all the way to the top. Obviously, a big-time college opportunity is on your mind, but most of you guys want to have a chance to play in the NFL one day. So, you guys, it was a journey. It was one hell of a journey. A lot of wind sprints, blood, sweat, and tears, days in the weight room, days where you had to pick yourself up and you're wondering if you still want to do it because it's so hard and so much work. But there was nothing that I loved more than football. I literally, when I was a kid, you guys are blessed and lucky. You guys got the NFL Network, you've got ESPN, you've got YouTube where you can run back drafts and highlights, and you can have football year long, year round if you want. It wasn't like that when Coach Wood was growing up. But I loved football so much. I obsessed over the game so much. I obsessed over the draft so much that I literally we had the old school VHS tapes that you had to put into the VCR and then record. I literally had probably about 12 or 15 drafts on a VHS tape that I had recorded, sat there, watched the whole draft, recorded the whole draft. Obviously, you probably had to have a couple of tapes to finish a draft, and I would store them. I would store them in my garage, you guys, and whenever I felt like watching a draft, I could watch a draft just like it was NFL Network or YouTube because I was taping them and storing them. That's how much I obsessed over that moment. And obviously with that comes all of the work. So I put in the work, you guys. I was not afraid to do what I had to do to get to the next level. And fortunate enough to get a full ride scholarship right out of high school. And the school I went to, you see the helmet behind me, at the time in the late 90s was cream of the crop, producing a lot of NFL prospects. I was a defensive back. Guys were winning the Thorpe Award at Colorado. Shouts out Deion Figures and Chris Hudson. So I was thinking I was going where I needed to go to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish, which was to go to the NFL, put on that hat, and hear my name called. Unfortunately, things didn't turn out that way. You know, there are a lot of things that have to fall in place for you to have that dream come to fruition. All of the guys that you guys watched on this last draft that had that dream come to fruition, they had to have a lot of things fall in place. They had to, you guys. And it's more than talent. It's more than talent. I played with plenty of guys and played against plenty of guys that had NFL talent. Some of them made it, some of them didn't. Some of the best players that I ever played against, you guys don't even know who they are. So you have to have a lot of great things fall in place for you to have that dream come to fruition. There are more things that are out of your control the higher you go up in such a competitive industry. So when you see these guys hugging their family, when you see them crying, it's because it's a long journey that has finally come to fruition. It's been a lifelong dream, a dream that they've dreamed many of nights that has finally become a reality. And there's so much emotion. These are some big, gentle giants, guys that you probably never see cry. And they're crying and they're just having the time of their life with their family, and their family's crying too because this is a family win. So on my draft day, you guys, I knew that I wasn't going to hear my name called on the telecast. Unfortunately, I played enough. I played enough at the University of Colorado to be picked up as a free agent. I played enough to be picked up as a free agent, and at the time, like I said, when I was there, we were good. We played in what today is the college playoffs. We played in the BCS games, which would be today's college playoffs. So we had a very good team. We had plenty of exposure. And we had a lot of guys go off and play in the NFL and get drafted. So on my draft day, you guys, I knew that I wasn't going to get drafted. But I was praying and I was hoping to at least get the phone call from a team that I'd be picked up as a free agent. I did have an agent at the time. There were no cameras around me. There was no streamers or big party. It was just me and my wife and my future mother-in-law at her apartment and eating chips and dip, you guys, and watching a lot of my teammates and plenty of people that I played against get drafted. And of course, just being elated and being overjoyed when I saw some of my teammates get drafted. The first one was Daniel Graham. Shout out DG, a tight end, great tight end, won the Mackey Award, and then went off to be drafted in the first round by the New England Patriots. Won a couple Super Bowls. So seeing his name, especially since we were in the same class, knew the dude since he was 17, played against him in practice, and then of course being teammates on the field, just overjoyed to see your boy who's fought so hard as well get drafted in the first round and see his dream come to fruition. But for me, it was not pleasant, you guys. It was not pleasant. There were definitely feelings of frustrations because you know what your boys did to get there, and you knew how good you were against them. So you're seeing your teammates go that you compete with against every day in practice, and you feel like you compete well with them. You're seeing guys that you compete against in games, guys going from Kansas State or from Texas, these other schools, and you competed with them in games, and you're seeing them get a chance to fulfill their dreams, but you're not getting your piece of the pie. So, of course, you're going to feel a certain way as a player. That's why I can relate to so many of our athletes with Before You Go Pro that we work with that are waiting for their scholarship offer or for that roster spot. And they see people going off that they played with or against that they feel like they're better than or just as good as. That's why I have such a heart for what we do with Before You Go Pro, because I've literally been in that seat. I've seen people that I felt I was good at, just as good as, or better than, have their name scroll across that draft screen and see them get a chance to fulfill their dream and hug their families and do all the things that they've always wanted to do. I've been there. So I know the feeling, you guys, and there's only so many things that you can control. And I feel, looking back on my career, that I did not fully control everything that I could have controlled. I even had workouts after the draft for the Bills, for the Raiders, for the Packers, and I didn't get myself in the best shape that I could possibly do, and my extracurricular activities were not on an NFL level at that time. So I did not deserve to achieve my dreams. And looking back on it, that's one of the biggest regrets, is that even though I dealt with politics and I dealt with highs and lows in college, I was still in position to achieve my dream, and I wasn't mindful enough and really mature enough to take advantage of it. And some windows we don't get back, you guys. Some things are too precious and too competitive for you to get back. If you miss that window closes. And that's what happened to me. So I spent my draft knowing damn well that I was capable and talented enough to play at the next level, but I didn't do everything I possibly could have to make it happen. I was not mindful and mature enough when it mattered most. Part of this Weekday Huddle episode, you guys, is just to urge to you young football players that have the dream still in front of you. It's yours. You can make it happen. Some of you guys are so talented, but it's going to come down to if you're ready for the window. If you're ready for the window, if you could put the distractions aside, if you can have the confidence, the work ethic, and the go-get-it mindset to actually make good on that big-time dream of playing in the NFL one day. Kudos to these amazing draft picks who have made their dreams come true, because it is not just talent. It is not just talent. And in today's day and age, where things are more tricky than ever before, and there's more politics and pressure in college football than ever before, you have to play your cards right for you to have that opportunity, you guys. Once again, I played with and I played against plenty of guys who had their names called and got a chance to play in the NFL. And they really weren't any different. Very few of them were just so exceptional that nobody else can match their talent. Everybody, once you get to that Power 4 level, is kind of similar. You have very few people that just separate and that are just that freaky, that are better than everybody else. For the most part, the guys that you see in the NFL are very talented, nonetheless, but they found a way. They found a way. They found a way to get through the politics. They found a way to climb the depth chart. They found a way to stay healthy. They found a way to do the right things off the field. They found a way to get the coaches to push them. They found a way, you guys. So my NFL draft day experience was nothing that I hope on you guys. I hope your experience is like these young men that you see hugging their families that are at the draft or at their home and just having a great day. You guys deserve it if you're willing to work for it and if you're ready to be for the window, because I wasn't ready for the window. And some things you don't get back. Some things you don't get back. Once again, my draft experience was at my mother-in-law's house eating chips and dip. No fanfare. No fanfare, and the phone didn't ring. The phone didn't ring. And when I look back on it, there was more that I could have done to have a better outcome. So keep that in mind. Hopefully this message finds you well, you guys. And once again, to all of the prospects that will get drafted or get free agent shots in the NFL, make the most of it, baby. But for you young athletes that do have that NFL dream and it's still right in front of you, maximize every day, maximize every season, and make sure you play your cards right, because you're going to have your name called one day and we're going to be pumped up for you to have it happen. All right, I'm Coach Wood. We'll see you at the top.